So welcome to the Exile 1 Story Volume 1. We're here with Gordon Anderson, who's going to tell us about him. So tell us, Gordon, who are you?
Okay, as you said, my name is Gordon Henderson, and this is my real name. It's not an artist borrowed name. I come from an island, I dare say a tiny island in the Caribbean, Dominica, not to be confused with the Dominican Republic, which is a country that shares an island with Haiti. They speak Spanish over there. The official language in Dominica is English, and we also speak Creole. The Creole that is spoken and I dare say experienced even here in the Indian Ocean, here in La Réunion, because we are in La Réunion, Reunion Island, if you will, in the Indian Ocean, close to Mauritius and Seychelles and these countries, yeah?
Okay, so tell us, why Reunion Island?
Okay, I'm here because this is the start of a world tour called 40 because I'm celebrating the 40th anniversary of my musical career. We speak of Exile 1, but Exile 1 is within these 40 years. Exile 1 started in 1973. Reunion because I love this part of the world. It reminds me of the Caribbean in terms of the climate, the beauty of the island, in terms of the history and the culture. I chose Reunion too because of the geographical distance. It demonstrates the impact of Creole music from a global standpoint, how far the music can go. I'm also very much impressed by the way that the music of Exile 1 is so present in the musical culture of this island. And in this tour, I will try my best to be accompanied on stage by local musicians, meaning when I perform in Guadeloupe, I perform with musicians from Guadeloupe, Martinique, and similarly Reunion. And I think that this is a tremendous demonstration of how the music is truly universal.
So now tell us more about your career. How did everything begin?
Okay, it's a very long story, and this is volume 1, remember? So we will just briefly tell you that I started in Dominica, and incidentally, at this point in my life, I have spent more time out of Dominica than in. Okay, and I'm very proud of that because that has made me some kind of a missionary, not an ambassador because I was never appointed, but I felt that I had a mission to go out already because I'm very curious by nature. And secondly, I think that we need missionaries to make our country known to what I'm looking for the most appropriate word. Well, to simply say to hold hands with people of similar cultural commonality. And I'm speaking specifically of the Creole cultured world. I started in Dominica and moved to Guadeloupe. We'll have more details in a subsequent volume, n'est-ce pas? Yeah, and in Guadeloupe, I was fortunate to be a singer with a famous group called Les Vikings, the Vikings. And in that group there were fantastic musicians such as Pedro Decimus, who later, after the creation of Exile 1, founded the group Kassav, the famous group Kassav. And while in Guadeloupe, my old friend, school friend, Fitzroy Williams, who was in another famous group called the Gaylords, we decided, let's get something started. I told him about my idea for Exile 1. He said that he was ready to go. And he made a selection of young musicians from Dominica. I invited them across, and we started Exile 1 in 1973.
So Exile 1 is also Cadence Lipso. So how did it
How did it start?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did it all? How was it started? Cadence Lipso is a name that I coined myself because it is a synthesis of Cadence Rampa of Haiti, sometimes called compa, or it's two very similar Haitian musical forms, and calypso, which it was and probably still is the predominant English-speaking genre in the Caribbean. It happened in a very strange way because Exile 1, when in the early months, we performed original songs, but we played what we heard on the radio. Soul music, calypso, reggae, etc. However, we became a little famous in Guadeloupe, and we were invited to play at a French West Indian party in Paris, France. And we went out there and we played, and the people applauded, but unfortunately it was a dance, and the people wanted to dance, and not only dance, but they were nostalgic of the Creole music that they knew from back home. So we had to improvise. And what we did is we creolized our very repertoire at the time. We brought in some calypso and cadence rampa vibrations into the music, and we decided to call it Cadence Lipso. That was the first performance of Cadence Lipso in Paris. And there was a record producer in the audience. He invited us to make a record, and it's the record with Atata and Jamais Boissa, which was the first Cadence Lipso record ever. We had a previous record that was entirely in English, with Don't Bite the Hand That Feeds You and that kind of Anglo music. Atata became a tremendous hit. And then our producer from Guadeloupe at the time, who didn't want me to sing in Creole because he said that I had an Anglo accent, he quickly invited us to do a record with Akiaka, which sold many, probably 200,000 or 300,000 at the time, which was phenomenal.
So you're part of the people who created the World Creole Music Festival. So what is this festival?
Yeah, the World Creole Music Festival. I am very happy and very proud to be a part of it. I remember in the French version, when you laughed a lot when I said that there are many people who can claim to be the father. If you do a DNA test, you will find that there are many fathers. Yeah, and I dare say I am one. But not the only one. Not the only one. There were many, many people, probably too many names to mention, who had the idea. But the government of Dominica at the time, and more particularly an institution which was called the NDC, they really were the driving force with the private sector in Dominica In 1996, we prepared for a year and had the first edition in 1997. It's 3 nights of pulsating rhythm. That's the catchword. And practically all the major groups of, I dare say, all the major groups of the Creole world, from New Orleans right across the Caribbean, have participated in this wonderful festival, which is on for it's annual, 13, 14 years. Unfortunately, because of economic reasons, and I hope that we'll be able to break these barriers, the Indian Ocean has not been represented so far, because to get to Dominica, you must travel all the way to Europe from the Indian Ocean, and from Europe to the Caribbean, and the cost of airline tickets, the cost is heavy. However, I must say that there are a few people from La Réunion who have been to the World Creole Music Festival, and they truly like the festival. We hope to see you there someday.
Yes, I hope I could come one day.
Yeah.
And I will.
Yes.
So thank you, Gordon.
You're most welcome. This was just part 1.